To support the show, visit us at patreon.com/retroam. Get early access, bonus episodes, and access to our growing collection of premium podcasts, where we cover other JRPGs like Terranigma, Parasite Eve, and Star Ocean.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
What's your favorite basketball court?
Charlotte Hornets in the 90s.
Shit.
It was iconic, man.
That's
no
what
other court looked like that.
That's what I was going to say. What's the best current one?
Louisville with the Dunking Bird.
Yes, that's what I was going to say too, Eric. We're on the same page here. Okay.
We have a bias, though.
Do you want to talk about basketball courts?
Yeah.
In the version of Hot Sounds that we're going to record in the future.
Yeah, but check out. These hot sounds are actually Mark's hot sounds from God Bless the Ring, special preview hot sounds.
How's it a preview? God Bless the Ring's already out.
Yeah, but what if you haven't heard it?
That's a good point.
Yeah. New hot sounds. Actually, old hot sounds.
Play them.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic JRPGs chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back. This is season 3 of this podcast. There's 3 seasons, so if you're just finding it now, you can go back and listen to the first 2 seasons.
Yes.
If you want to. Eric. This is Final Fantasy VIII. My name is Chris. I'm joined by Eric. Hey, Eric.
What's up, Chris? You can also pay us money and listen to seasons on Parasite Eve, Radical Dreamers, and Terranigma.
And
Star Ocean.
Star Ocean.
God bless the time.
I'm sure it's great. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's all right.
We don't know yet because we haven't recorded at the time we're recording this, but by the time you hear this, it's out. So you don't have to take our word for it. Just ask somebody on the internet. Ask somebody from the Real Net, because we are joined by the Real Net, a collective of patrons who are listening to us record live. You too can join the Real Net at patreon.com/retroam. Hop in there. Thank you, patrons, for your support. We appreciate it.
Chris just died and came back to life. Did you all hear that?
It happens occasionally.
We're also joined by the Fake Net, our post-production AI companion and member in Wu-Tang Shaolin Style, the fighting game made from the Thrill Kill engine that featured such fighting arenas as Basketball Court.
Initializing Fake Net.
This is the only thing I have ever been proud of doing in my short, sweet digital life.
Chris, name as many Wu-Tang members as you can. You can do this.
The RZA, the Jizza, the Ghostface Killa, Method Man, Red Man.
No.
It's only Method Man?
It's only Method Man.
Really?
Common mistake, though.
Did I say I said the RZA, the Jizza. ODB.
Deceased, but yes.
Yes, he's deceased. Babyface.
No.
No.
Inspector Deck, Raekwon. Capadonna. There's one more.
Raekwon's the only other one I would have known.
Fake Net, who are we forgetting?
Initializing Fake Net.
Master Killer and You God.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Ghostface? We say Ghostface?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, geez, Chris.
So, yeah, now we're out here in these streets, in these basketball streets. I think there are other basketball courts as video game fighting backgrounds. I think there might be one in Street Fighter 3. I could be wrong. But Sean can throw basketballs. You don't know who Sean is.
I do. I
Okay.
played Street Fighter 3 briefly. Sean has a very thin oval head.
I guess. We just got hot off the trails of Selfie becoming a good character in this video game. Are you okay? Hot off the
I was
trails?
just thinking I want a basketball beat 'em up starring Reggie Miller for some reason. Because he has that choke thing to Spike Lee, and I want him to do that to... I'm sorry, cut that.
Yeah. I mean, that new Malice in the Palace documentary's out.
Yeah, I tried getting my wife to watch that. She wasn't game. Ron Artest Interactive Fan Experience.
In addition to like things like 9/11 and the JFK assassination. which
Malice in the Palace, is that for you?
is that for me? I just remember where I was because I just...
I learned about it on FARC. But in this video game, we're going to the basketball court. You know what's ironic about this, Chris?
what?
It's a place of games, but it's ruined by war.
Yeah, it's true.
War is no game. The music stops. Kistis and Zell are already here. The court is completely fucked, albeit it used to look nice near these mountains. I love mountain backgrounds. I fear nothing. Squall says they're leaving as soon as Selfie comes back, and until then, they're on standby. Then everyone poses and walks around and sits down. Squall thinks, doesn't seem like the enemy has invaded this garden yet. Are they on their way? Where's the sorceress? We have to find her. And then Renoa says, ever since I met all of you, I've been doing some thinking. I can't stop thinking about it, and I can't come up with the answer either. She doesn't say what this is about, which is very frustrating. Zell wonders why the sorceress came into the picture all of a sudden. He wonders if she was waiting for this opportunity and if she was living a normal life before all of this.
As a son of man.
That's right. What's that a reference to, Chris? All right. Kistis wonders...
What is my reference to?
Son of man? Yeah, what are you talking about?
In Xenogears, when Faye left Citan's workshop, he said, I wonder if it would be better for him to live a normal life as a son of man. But I do appreciate Zell for asking some very important questions right here, because these are good questions. Like, Zell's asking very good questions, because we haven't really discussed this as a group, as a party. We haven't discussed why did the sorceress just fucking show up, because all of the lore leading up to that moment was like there hasn't been a known sorceress forever.
Do you think you start wondering if it's your actions that started all of this? If it's something that you did? Like, you know how people are the protagonists of reality in their own minds? Like, if you attribute responsibility to an action you did that could have caused all of this?
I think that's a fair question in the specific circumstances which are about to be revealed.
In which case, we are actually the protagonists of reality?
Yes.
In this game?
I guess.
Kistis wonders why they're searching for Elone. Elone invites Squall back to the past, whereas the sorceress searches for it. Could it be the sorceress is trying to make that journey into the past too, which I think pretty much spells it out for us right there?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question too. Like, the sorceress is interested in Elone because of her powers. Why? Why exactly? Well, her only power that we know of is going back into the past. So
I wonder if Elone's powers are minimized because of the distance she always is from Squall. Like, if she actually has more past powers, but Squall just gets a glimpse or a taste of it, and the sorceress with her power can exploit it more.
We've kind of ruminated on the idea of like some things in these past scenes change slightly when Squall's observing them, like the copy of Timber Maniacs that you can pick up or not pick up and make Ward appear or not appear. These slight changes to the past make me wonder if the sorceress were to be able to utilize these powers fully, would she be able to, really do some damage?
There has to be a game like that, right? Where you alter the future and the past and go, Chrono Trigger, obviously.
Yeah, I thought you were being facetious when you said that.
No, I mean, I'm thinking about something more immediate where you can push a button and flip instantly in like a single environment, like a Gone Home type game, but it's
Life is Strange, kind of.
But that's more like a rewind type thing.
Yeah.
So there's great elucidation on the bigger plot machinations here, Chris, but then Irvine speaks.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks he has to do something to show Selphie that she can depend on him.
Yeah. This is a fun contrast because in my case, Irvine was the first one that I spoke with. And so I expected each one of these individuals to be reflecting upon their own personal situation, when it's quite the opposite. Everybody out here is reflecting upon the larger conspiracies and the larger plots, whereas Irvine is just wondering how he can
bust a nut.
I was going to say, put his arm around Selphie during a movie, but yeah.
It's upsetting because Zell is a single man his whole life. I'm pretty sure Selphie is a single woman her whole life of this game. Squall and Renota, fated lovers, obviously. But for some reason, this game, at least from Irvine's point of view, is really pushing the gas on setting them up together.
Yeah, it is. The only good payoff for that would be that they never...
Like, set it up and it just crashes instead.
Yeah.
So I try to leave.
Yeah, but you can't.
A ball rolls onto the court.
Yeah, it's like when Bill Murray shows up in Space Jam. I don't know if that's how it works, but Bill Murray does show up in the first one. Yeah. Selphie's here now. She apologizes for keeping us waiting. And
Where I Belong resumes.
Yes, the music comes back on, and Selphie thanks the entire group for coming all the way out here. Irvine says something simultaneously to is he interrupting her?
I think so. He just says cheer up.
Yeah, Selphie seems pretty, given the circumstances, Selphie seems pretty cheerful, right? She turns to Squall, Selphie that is, and starts bouncing up and down. And she says, "Take me with you when you fight the sorceress, okay?"
Selphie, you're a party member.
Yeah, we weren't going you join the party. You don't leave the party. You never leave the party.
They don't know they're in a party. Like, she was at Garden because of circumstance. Like, I think the game is especially interested in providing justification for people to be on the team. Like, earlier, Renoa was probably wondering about her place in all of this.
Yeah.
And Selphie, I think, was like, well, she's at Trebian now, but Trebia's messed up. She's done as much as she can. She wants permanent residence. She wants, tenure in the team.
Thanks. She says she wants to get even. She wants her revenge.
So blood Selphie comes back. What do we call it? Terminator Selphie? Like the one obsessed with like death and viscera, like the Yggdrasil doctor? Like what version of Selphie?
Yeah.
punished selfie.
That's the version we need right now.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances.
Activate.
Renoa approaches, and the camera then, or she says, and then the camera cuts to like a closer shot.
A zoomed in redraw.
Yeah, a zoomed in redraw is a better way. It's not, the camera's not actually cutting because you can't do that in this situation, but...
well, you can if you make it CG real quick, which is expensive and infrequent.
Yeah, but it serves the same purpose. She says, do we have to fight? Isn't there another way? To avoid any bloodshed? Zell steps up and wonders, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We've been loving battles here for 29 episodes of this podcast. What are you doing? It's like he doesn't have any... it's like Zell doesn't have any other verbs other than beat ass, and Renoa's new disposition conflicts with this worldview for Zell, so he's having to immediately
Her season
step
2
up.
character arc.
Yes, absolutely. So it's funny too, because when she says this, Zell like takes a few steps forward with his chest out, like he's getting ready to fight somebody, because
he's a hothead.
Yeah. I just found that visual very funny. Renoa goes on. She says, maybe someone really smart can come up with a way so we wouldn't have to fight anymore. Squall begins to wonder what Renoa is getting at. He thinks that if someone can come up with something, well, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I think Squall lives in a little bit more of grounded reality.
He considers it, and then he says, no one's doing anything. They're all scared, uneasy. All they do is complain. They just pretend to be thinking. They criticize others, but in the end, they can't do anything either. Renoa, why this all of a sudden? What do you expect from me? I grew up in Garden. I'm a seed. Do you understand? Did he think that or say that? I forgot to write that down.
Well, he was thinking all that stuff, and he was like, it was one of those moments when he visibly dissociates, because he actually walks off the screen, and then the camera, air quotes, camera cuts to Squall as he's walking away.
This is a combination of someone's work rant and also Squall saying that all he knows how to do is kill.
Yeah, and he's just, the whole time he's just staring at him, but he's just thinking it. And that's what leads Renoa to step up and tell him that yo, you have to voice your feelings or else we won't understand. Squall steps forward, and somehow he leads his response with a question that he hopes to lead Renoa to his mode of thinking. Like he's trying to put Renoa in his shoes now, or at least in his swim lane in terms of the way he's thinking here.
She also says we instead of I, which is very important.
Yeah, very true. So I think the way, with the Squall not being abrasive in his response here, I think it's another subtle character growth moment here. He says, you were a part of a resistance movement in Timber, right? Unlike others who were all talk, you took your weapons and fought. And now you're saying this? What the fuck happened to you? Editorial. I don't believe Squall actually believes what he's saying here, but...
He's using facts and logic.
But he is using facts and logic, but I think he's using it in a... Not in a shitty way. He's using it to try to help Renoa
get her point out.
Empathize with what him and Zell and the rest of the team's disposition is here. Renoa then admits that she's getting scared. The camera cuts to her and she says, sometimes when I'm with all of you, I feel like we're all in the same wavelength, But when the battles start happening, it's different. Everyone's tempo seems to pick up and I get left behind. I try to catch up, but it's no use. How far is everyone going? I can't hear anyone. Once I catch up, I wonder, is everyone safe? Will they welcome me with open arms? Is everyone okay? Will we all make it back together? When I start thinking like that, and she kind of trails off, which I think it would have been, I don't know how you would do this, but I think it would have been neat if that scenario could have been somehow communicated in the mechanics of the game,
For me, they were, because everybody is in their late 20s or early 30s in levels, and Renoa is level 13.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So that was an excellent alignment for me.
Oh, okay, it works, yeah.
But you said
if she couldn't use GFs yet or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, some mechanical thing. In the case of most things, when we have ideas like, oh, it would have been cool if they could have done this, the development team almost certainly also had that idea, but could not implement it because of whatever reason.
It's even hard to come up with a super aspirational idea right here.
So you read that she trailed off, but I have that Irvine cut her off for some reason.
Yeah, the fucking cowboy is the first one to step up and empathize.
He tips his cap.
Yeah.
Someone might not be there. Someone you love may disappear before your very eyes. It's tough when you live your life thinking that way, but that's why I fight. So also note that all of our kids here, except for Renoa, are from military academies and have had the taste of blood in Death and War.
Yeah.
Whereas Renoa, as far as we know, has only done one major train switching operation. The rest appeared to be mischief.
Yeah, but
and then once she got a taste for blood, she may realize that this doesn't have to be a path forward.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess the efficiency of that whole train mission makes me think they had done other shit too. I guess
I don't know. She's not from Timber. I think she was LARPing, man.
Good point. I looked down to take notes or something, and I thought Irvine pounded his chest, but actually he picked up the basketball and shot a fucking free throw.
Yeah? What happened? To go in?
He made it.
So Irvine
never misses free throws like the devil. No one will get that reference. He says that when he was a little kid, about 4 or so, he was in an orphanage.
Chris,
He sinks the mid-range J.
he shoots the ball and misses in mine.
Maybe he missed it.
Do you know why?
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 The result of this depends on how many battles your party has fought.
Oh,
With fewer than 200 wins, the shot misses. Between 200 and 249, the ball goes straight through. And at 250 wins, the ball spins through the hoop before going through.
I think mine was the middle one.
I just missed. So I've had fewer than 200 wins. You've had between 200 and 249.
So I love battles more than you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, great. That's interesting fact, Eric. Thanks for bringing that up. I had no idea. Suddenly, we are Irvine. Well, Irvine is the
not
key.
again.
The key. Yeah, we actually don't get control of him. Thankfully, we are just he's the
Featured speaking character.
Yes,
He's
which-
soliloquying.
what a fucking time, right? For this guy to be the guy, the deliverer of lore. But we're in this place that looks kind of like the inside of like an old stone castle.
Yeah.
But it's very obviously like a lived-in space where there's like boxes and shit laying everywhere.
Mhm.
It's very kind of picturesque too, because the windows are open. You can see out into the ocean.
He's his adult self. He says, plenty of kids, all with no parents, just like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
All kids, no parents. Probably a fancy orphanage.
It was all around the end of the Sorceress War, so I guess it couldn't be helped, implying all their parents are dead.
We kind of wondered about why there were so many kids in Garden.
More orphans.
and that makes a lot more sense now. They recruited them because they had nowhere else. They had no fucking body to say no. Don't send my kid to a PMC.
Anyway, that's where I was. And out of all the kids there, one was very special to me. 3 kids run in the door one after the other after he says this. A fourth, a little girl with a yellow shirt and green overalls, stops by and asks Irvy if he wants to play.
Yeah.
Irvine says he really liked this girl, and it made him so happy just to talk to her. Then a young Irvine emerges from his shadow, and he says, "Hey, Seffi, what you playing?" Seffi, in capital letters, screams, "War!"
War.
War.
And they run out the door. It fades to black. Foreshadowing, Chris.
Wow, lots of shit going on here. The kids run outside, then it cuts back to the basketball court.
Basketball court.
Yep. Selfie steps forward and asks if the orphanage was a stone house. Holy shit, what's happening here? Irvine says that you guessed it.
That's right.
There's some really good, body language moment here when just about everyone other than Squall takes a few steps closer to the conversation because
Yeah.
everyone's starting to like put
Remember.
some pieces together, and it's kind of putting on edge. It's really, really good. Like they could have really just let that play out, let those dialogue boxes do all the work. But the fact that they gave everybody one step into the conversation circle was I thought
It's
was
directed.
super good.
It has purpose.
Yeah.
Kistis asked if it was an old house made of stone by the ocean. Irvine confirms her guess. Irvine says he knew right away from the first time they met. Both Kistis and Selfie ask why he didn't tell them. We flash back to the orphanage, and Irvine's gaslighting showdown continues.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like we have to stop and talk about this for a second.
The game never really addresses it.
No, and
Well, let's let him confess. that
yeah,
he-
well, I just want, well, let's just point out that the big dumb idiot has been hiding a huge plot revelation for the entire first half of this video game.
and that makes the prison sequence so much more fucked up.
Yes, the cowboy literally knows the start of all of this. He knows when the cogs of fate began to turn.
Yeah,
And he's not fucking telling
he's reading
anybody.
the goddamn book.
I'm so disappointed in you, cowboy.
Irvine says they seem to have forgotten, and then a new dimension to Irvine's character is added. Irvine says it sucked that he was the only one who remembered. Spunky little Seffi and bossy little Kisty. Gaslighting fuck has been sitting on this information. He didn't want to rescue any of these people from jail, Chris.
No.
Renoa had to convince to drive him back.
Yeah.
Selfie says this is so weird. A little boy in blue overalls with blonde hair walks in and stomps his foot. Who's this?
I got Dennis the Menace runs in and vibrates, but yeah, it's Zell.
It's Zell asking if they remember setting off fireworks.
Any vibrating character in this game is Zell.
Irvine follows the children outside and Ghost Squall walks in. We
Yeah.
have control.
Finally.
My seed rank goes down to 15 while I'm in here.
Yeah,
This sentimental flashback.
I claimed my salary during this flashback as well, which was kind of funny.
I followed the kids outside. We're presented with a coastline and a rock wall leading out to a lighthouse. The orphanage is full of crumbling Roman architecture. I think a seaside city is visible in the background.
Oh,
Young Squall, it could just be ruins. To me, it looks city-ish. Like,
so you didn't go in the bedroom?
not yet.
You can go in the bedroom.
Yeah, what happens?
There's a young Squall's in there.
Charlie Brown Squall.
Charlie Brown Squall's in there, and he's saying, he's telling the matron, which I think is the child speak for matron.
M-A-T-R-O-N.
Yes, that Sis isn't here. The child wonders where Sis is and fades away.
Nice.
So it's just a little bit of a detour.
First mission of the word,
Yes.
matron. But outside, his younger self also wonders where Sis went and wonders if she doesn't like him anymore. Then the kids disappear, and Big Squall thinks, what a shameful sight.
Yep. The shirt laundry is not pre-rendered.
Down here, I walk around down to the beach. Zell, Irvine, and Kistis and Selfie are staring down the coastline at the White House. The tide is moving water in and out. Opasa Beach. Irvine says, how about this? And Selfie says, yeah. And Zell comments on the ocean and the lighthouse. Kistis confirms they did indeed set off fireworks. Would you give a 5-year-old fireworks? What are they doing?
No. I'll give them this fucking snapper poppers. That's about it.
When I was 10, I rode my bikes to Walgreens and they sold us the good stuff.
Really? Wow.
There was a law against it the next year. Next, it's night. There's a campfire on this same beach. Stars fill the night sky. The light in the lighthouse is twinkling. The gang is now children. Zell runs down the stairs and says that kids aren't supposed to set off fireworks, but Zell says he's going to tell on them? What?
Kid Zell.
Are hotheads a tattletale?
Snitch.
Somebody calls Zell a crybaby and tells him to go back to bed. Adult Kistis then comments that they all got in big trouble for this one. Zell asks an important question.
Yeah.
What is it?
I thought I had parents.
Yeah.
Why do I live here? Kistis breaks the news, which I think she's just intuiting here.
We go back indoors for this.
You're adopted. Yeah, the scene then, we're back in the bedroom this
The
time.
lighthouse is visible outside. I wonder if the lighthouse has meaning anywhere? A beacon of point for focus? A warning? Like, why it looks cool? Is there a deeper point to a lighthouse being visible in the picture?
A phallus.
Or maybe it's like lighthouses are always phalluses, aren't they, Chris? Maybe it's like a signifier for when you try to find this place on the world map, you look for a lighthouse.
Yeah, maybe. It's nighttime here, and there's an open flame in front of the bed. I don't know what's going on here. A torch or something?
Oh, it's called fire. It heats your home when you don't have an HVAC.
Good point.
That's right.
Well, I have Firaga. Kid Zell's still trying to tattle here. One very impressively buff kid with swoopy hair comes in and starts calling him Crybaby Zell in all caps.
A little bit before that, the kids are teasing Zell, and Zell asks Maytwin for help.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep. Maytwin.
The door opens. Well, you said swipey kid. I have Budnick looking punk ass.
Yeah, impressively buff
Yeah.
for a kid. It's goddamn it. Like I knew who this was as soon as I
Who is
got
it,
a good look
Chris?
at him. It's Cypher.
Cypher's there, which is something you don't see coming.
Yeah, we can't. The gang, everybody, we can't believe this shit. I'm back to my ghost self all of a sudden, and then me as Ghost Squall can go talk to all the kids.
Kissis has the best reaction. Kissis says, "Oh my goodness."
Oh,
He's very good.
yeah. When he talks to the ghost children, which second retrograde amnesia game in a row where we speak with ghost children.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Cypher. Squall says Cypher was always Cypher. Zell, always crying and screaming. Irvine, sorry, I don't remember you. You might as well be fucking Nita.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was
That's
fun.
pretty sick burn.
Yeah. Kistis, I think you were difficult to deal with. Selfie, always full of energy.
That tracks.
And as we'll point this out, like this will be pointed out explicitly, but like it's, I guess, important to note that like Renoa is not part of this. So this is the explanation
Right.
for
But
Renoa's
then
thing.
Cypher also wasn't for a little while either.
Yes.
So she
yes,
could be asleep in a different room.
Yes.
Also, did you look on the right side of this room?
There's with the tapestry.
Yeah, there's like a Shroud of Turin ass ghost image in a red blanket.
It's a fucking. It's
Like, what is that?
I don't know.
Is it magic? Next, we go to the basketball court. Irvine again confirms that Cypher was there. Everyone was there except for Renoa. Selfie concludes, and then the camera shifts over to Squall, who gets up from his seat of concrete and rebar.
Yeah.
He was there too.
He announces, "Yeah, I was there too." We then go back and see that scene of him standing in the rain as his child boy self.
Yes.
The same scene we've seen with him waiting for his sister to come back, resolving to take care of himself, etc.
Yes. I'm
Squall, though,
alone.
has a new thought, though.
Yeah.
I didn't turn out okay at all.
Yeah.
Which, character development, I guess, like he's now realizing, like, man, I really made this resolution to, not rely on anybody else and take care of myself, and it's fucking not working. Have you seen me?
This was the start of all of this.
Yes.
So do you think at this point, do you think
I
he
sleep in a
blames-
jacket. What?
It's straight. Do you think he blames Alone at this point? I don't think we get any information on that. But
I don't think so.
Does she see him as it's very eeasy in this situation to blame her instead of himself, but he seems to be blaming himself.
Yeah, and this is actually where the revelation comes, where he realizes that cis L
Was alone.
Yeah, it was alone the whole time. Squall remembers that she was a bit older than all of them and that they used to call her cis. Squall can't believe this shit, and he's not sure what the meaning behind all of this is, but acknowledges that they were all definitely together.
We go back to the beach. To daytime, we're all adults. Selfie tells the audience and Zell that Alone is the one who takes us back to Laguna's time.
Yeah.
She wanted to change the past. I don't know why.
Did Squall tell anybody about this?
Alone? I think we're supposed to assume that in downtime. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Because he goes on, he starts talking explicitly about things that we already know, but it's good to reinforce these things right here. Squall tells everyone that Alone told him that she wanted to change the past, but Squall doesn't know why. Kistis suddenly seems like she knows why,
Yeah.
and it's not really a good answer, but she says that there can only be one reason for that. Selphie fills in the blank for her, thinking that Alone must not be happy with the present. Who is, really?
Nobody.
Zell's up for the shit, though. He says that he's definitely up for helping her, Alone, that is. She's part of the OG orphanage gang.
Unlike you, Renoa,
Yeah.
he didn't say that.
He doesn't say OG either, but I did. As we gain control back of Squall, we can chat individually with everyone again.
Hit him up.
There's nothing really interesting here except for no one is really sure why we don't remember any of these things. Like, that's the general thing that you take away from this, right?
Selphie wonders where the orphanage is, even though I've already been there.
Oh, yeah, true.
Zell also sighs that his parents aren't his parents. Here's an important question. Have we ever met his dad or heard about his dad? Because he's saying parents plural.
He mentions him later.
He does?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm just in the present, though.
No, we haven't. It's funny too because everyone's trying to come up with the idea. Why can't we remember shit? But they must have not have read Selphie's blog or listened to the podcast Retrograde Amnesia, because we're going to get that revelation here in a minute. Irvine goes on. He says everyone was fond of Sis, but you, Squall, you kept hogging her for yourself. Squall tells Irvine that he has a good memory.
Does my guy not use Guardian Forces?
Irvine?
Yeah, I mean, that's could be a reason, right? Like, did we learn why the hell he is preserved?
We talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually get that in the story, but I think that is the implication here, or early on in the conversation, is that Irvine didn't use Guardian Forces until recently.
Next question. Does Squall take offense to all of this when he says that Squall hogged Alone?
Whatever. I think it's probably what he thinks.
Third question. Was
Yeah.
that attachment ultimately the source of all of his pain? Maybe Alone is trying to change that attachment?
Yeah, I mean, by Alone changing the past, is Alone more so trying to communicate the story of Laguna to Squall in order to not let Squall repeat whatever mistakes Laguna made? Even though they're completely opposite people, they like Squall and Laguna could both use traits from the other, you know?
Yeah.
Like to become
a complete person.
Yes. Fucking
Use a
Gotenks.
little bit laid back.
Yeah.
So next thing, I don't remember quite why I wrote this, but I wrote, it would be funny if Squall turned all of this around and psychoanalyzed Irvine's youth to assign a reason for him being a gaslighting fuckboy.
I mean, that's pretty much what's going on here.
Like, what about you, man? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Squall continues, I don't think I was adopted because of the way I am. Hell of a sentence.
Yeah.
Probably the same with Cypher, too. You two must have been at Garden by age 5 or so. Even so, he's never mentioned anything about growing up in an orphanage. And nothing about this has ever crossed my mind when I see him either. Don't you find that odd?
Yes.
Selphie replies, that is strange. In my case, I had loads and loads of fun after going to Trabia. That's probably why I forgot all about my childhood.
That makes no sense.
Nope. Well, I mean, you replace fun with pain, right?
Yeah,
You can
that's
overlap that stuff.
Also, this is where I began wondering if orphanages were feeders for gardens, basically.
They were.
which
I mean,
think-
Gardens
yeah.
picked up orphan kids. Like,
Yeah.
that's part of their MO.
Yeah.
Selphie continues, but I don't know what's up with you guys. It's so odd that you would all forget. Then Kista steps in. She says she remembers. Things didn't work out too well at my new home, so I came to Garden at the age of 10. That was when I first noticed Cypher and Squall. They were always fighting. Squall then confirms that Kistis always used to break them up.
I feel like if you're cognizant of the fact that you don't have any memories before age 10, then that should be like part of you, right?
I mean, maybe. If you ask me to summon a memory from age 11, unless I think about what grade I was in, I can't just do that.
I think I can. Maybe I'm weird.
What happened to you when you were 11, Chris?
What grade was I in?
I don't know. For me,
No,
it was 6th grade.
I'm saying before that. Like I have specific memories from before that. Like, don't you remember when you had to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance because the Iraqis attacked Kuwait?
To graduate from kindergarten in 1988, I had to give a paragraph speech on Ronald Reagan.
Shit.
Kistis finishes off her character development with a speech.
Yeah, take it.
Yes, that's right. Cypher was a kid who always needed to be the center of attention, but Squall always used to ignore him. But eventually, they would end up fighting. Squall could have easily walked away from it, but always took up the challenge. He should have just ignored him, but Squall, almost in tears, would say, I got to do the best by myself, which mirrors his
Yeah.
alone speech. Or else I won't be able to see Sis. I guess I was trying to take Alone's place. I tried, but to no avail. Oh, that's probably it. Even after becoming an instructor, I couldn't stop thinking about Squall. I thought it was love. I had to hide my feelings because I was an instructor, but I've come to realize it wasn't. It was my childhood feelings as a big sister that lingered.
Eric, do you buy it?
Oh, well. I don't know a lot about human psychology, but I can imagine those feelings between sister and lover, especially with the abundance of pornography available nowadays, being very blurry for some people, especially in a stepsister situation.
Yeah, I just don't think that those two feelings are like mutually exclusive.
No, I think that she's lying to herself to try to resolve a loose end of the plot and set Squall free to engage in a relationship with Rinoa without worrying about a third interest.
Yeah.
This is disappointing, though.
The game probably would have been better if this would have played out.
I mean, it was a
Even if-
problematic relationship, but
Yeah, even if somebody had to get hurt.
yeah.
Like it feels like there should have been a moment in which Kisses comes to the realization. And I guess she admits to it later that she kind of gave up at some point, but like I don't know, it's just it does feel very tacked on, like you said.
But the rest of the gang, did they even know about that night at the dance?
No.
They're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We know sure as hell Squall didn't talk about that, so I'm sure Kisses didn't either. So
She runs away embarrassed and then stares out into the ocean. Zell
Yeah.
thinks this is getting out of hand and they're forgetting way too much.
yeah.
Selphie can't remember where the orphanage was located.
Did you run and speak with
Yes.
Kisses as she's on the beach?
What did she say?
She's whispering something about misunderstood love, and she
Yes.
admits giving up on the love or whatever when Rinoa came on the scene.
Then she says, hey, it must be the same for Cypher. I'm sure Cypher has forgotten his childhood too, but whenever he sees Squall, his inner feelings start to boil.
This is called disliking someone.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that doesn't
I mean,
necessarily.
there's certain people that I see in the Kill Bill rage music plays. Right?
Yeah.
I don't slice them with a sword.
But those people live in your memories. These aren't just people that you see and you hate.
I mean, hate's too strong of a word, but there's people that I talk to at my job. Whenever I talk to them, I lie. No matter what it's about,
Oh.
I lie.
Okay, sure, great.
I think that means, according to Chuck Klosterman's definitions between nemesis and archenemy, that makes them an archenemy.
Okay, that works. Wow, damn, Eric, shit.
Yeah. Google those. They're pretty funny reasons, although a bit misogynistic at this point. Anyway,
Zell does the hand on hip cross leg thing.
yeah.
Zell, he has that funny pose,
Yeah.
and he wonders if this is why Cypher always picks fights with Squall. Again, this is just called being an asshole. Like there doesn't necessarily have to be a reason for it.
So Kistis and Rinoa both fought the same battle with Squall, and Rinoa only really took over once Kistis gave up.
For as much of this game that was sold in the marketing and in the developer interviews and whatnot, about this game being about love, like there's not very much of that plot has really even been seeded at this point. It's like these two characters exist, but that's about it, right? Like
Yeah.
they have a lot of misunderstandings and they have difficulty communicating with each other, but that's it.
Squall can't believe this shit.
Nope.
He wonders how it's possible they forgot all of this, but Irvine has a theory.
Yeah.
And I wrote this down as a guess earlier,
Mhm.
but he says it's the price they pay for Guardian forces. The GF provides them with power, but it makes its own place inside their brain. So Irvine subscribes to the Donald Trump heart theory, where he doesn't exercise because your heart's only got so many beats left in it,
Oh,
and you could, run it out of beats.
yeah. My mouse only has a certain amount of clicks before it
Right.
dies.
There's
Yeah.
only so much space in your brain.
Yeah. Woo. Well, I mean,
planned obsolescence of human brain.
yeah. So Kistis then wonders if this is where the memories are stored. Yes. You have retrograde amnesia because Satan and a baby Minotaur lives in your prefrontal cortex.
That's right. That's just a rumor the GF critics are spreading on the internet, Chris.
Yeah.
Take ivermectin.
It's a misinformation campaign spread by a guy who sells pillows.
Yeah. I do like the idea of unverified in-world rumors, and I wish the game pressed this harder.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got a couple. Because remember early off
It was
when
on the
we
message board, right?
well, also when we set off on our first mission, I think it was a garden faculty was like, "Don't listen to the fucking people, the GF critics out
Yeah.
there. They don't listen to what people say." But the weird thing is that we never encountered any of those people, so that really wasn't built into the
Well,
world.
maybe
as
we
well.
did, and we forgot.
Shit.
That's right. Zell assumes that if we keep relying on our Guardian forces, we won't be able to remember anything. Kisses says there's no way Headmaster Sid would allow such a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
By the way, where is Sid?
Yeah, where's Sid? Where the fuck is Sid? Irvine asks how, then says it's possible he remembers while everyone else has forgotten. Nobody says shit, and he says he only junctioned a GF recently. That's why he remembers more than anyone else.
This would have played a little bit better if we had to have teach Irvine how to junction tutorial.
Yeah, I just taught you the exact same thing over again.
Yeah.
That'd be a really slick, like, in-game reason. Like, why are they teaching me this over again?
Yeah.
Kistis asks Selphie what her deal is since she experienced her first GF at Balam like a day before we met Irvine. We can then walk as Squall. Kistis says we gave up our memories for power. Zell wonders if this is why other forces refrain from using GF. And Chris, what other forces? Other gardens? Were we the only ones with GF? Was there like a mention of that? Like they didn't use those at Galbadia? I mean, they didn't otherwise because Irvine would have had one, right? So was like Balam the only one doing this kind of experimental battle shit with kids?
I think so. And part of that probably has to do with Sid's like hidden mission of defeating the sorceress, because he knows using the GF is going to be one of the sacrifices that they have to make in order to win. Because this is part of the reason why we're so strong.
I mean, so what if the drone programs killed 5,000 civilians a year?
Yeah.
Got to win.
Yeah. But you would also think that Galbadia would be very on board with using GFs though, because
I don't know. Now they would, but they were strict and militant before, but did they deploy before? Because like no one at Galbadia was a seed, right? Like they didn't go on extracurriculars.
It's true. It's true. They were all about pumping out technology, which is maybe the replacement for the GF, right?
Yeah, technology like organic creatures versus military industrial complex.
Well, you saw what we did to the Ironclad.
No more horses in the... Yeah. Shit. Back at the house, Kistis wonders what we should do. Squall takes offense at this question and tells her, nothing! Zell can't believe this shit. Squall's like, what do you want to do? Stop using GF now? As long as we continued fighting, we're indebted to the powers of GF. If there's a price I have to pay for that, I'll gladly pay it.
Selphie also makes a good point here. Like Selphie and Zell are the ones that are making all the good points, I think, right now, which didn't expect it. But she says that we should probably just start keeping a diary.
A live journal. Right.
Yes, thanks. Zell gets dejected, but ultimately agrees and lands somewhere kind of reasonable. He says, what's important to me now is having the power to protect my parents in Balam, which is a perfectly acceptable value proposition. Like if your family's going to be nuked, then I would sacrifice my memories for having the Minotaur brothers in my pocket or whatever. So
he also said his childhood represented pain when Cypher used to pick on him, so he doesn't care if he forgets. Like he's actively trying to forget.
Yeah, true.
But could GF at this point be a metaphor with these child soldiers for PTSD? Like shit that just dominates their thoughts and haunts them?
That's a really good pull there. And if that's true, then it would have been even more interesting if the memory loss wasn't the only side effect. Like if there were also other...
hallucinating or something?
Yeah, hallucinating or just general like poor mental health or something like that nature, just issues, which very well could be in play. I mean, none of our characters are over the age of 18, so...
Yeah. The music then stops, even though it probably stopped on this podcast a while ago, and Kistis asks if they remember Matron.
Ah.
Zell says she was always wearing black. By the way, Matron, since it's the first proper spelling of it, was what I bleeped 2 episodes ago.
Oh, because Selphie said it in Shumi Village, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a sequence break sort of thing, yeah.
Then a woman in a black dress with black hair walks forward, looks out a window, then stops in the center of our circle and emotes. Kistis says she really admired her. Selphie can picture her face, but then Irvine interrupts and he says Matron's name.
Yes, her name, Edea Kramer. The matron is Sorceress Edea.
Shit.
Fuck.
Damn it.
And then it does this oral Vinos
Lusek, Wikos, Vinosek?
Yeah, which is at the end of the soundtrack. It's like a really almost auto-tuned version of those words. It plays them once and then that's it. It's a fucking awesome timing.
It really is. And a couple of questions here before we get deeper into this. Irvine remembers this, right?
Yeah.
Is this why he couldn't shoot the fucking bullet?
Ooh, good one. If not, that's a serious plot hole. Oh man, that's pretty good. If Final Fantasy VIII thought that far ahead and it wasn't some magic spell and it was, well, I don't know. He did say he was like a big wimp.
Well, he shot the bullet.
Yeah.
But he had a hard time, the lead up that Squall had to talk him into it, right?
Right. And he couldn't tell anyone about it. Why? That's a good question.
Yeah, because, maybe yes, Irvine sucks and he's a fuckboy and he's gaslighting us this whole game, but also maybe there is a reason for him having trouble up to that lead up.
You could also, at least with the prison thing, of him just being scared to tell everyone and trying to abandon them all and run off with the one girl who doesn't know any of this.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say Irvine redeemed, but that does add a new dimension to his character.
So another thing too, now we have this thing in our, well, at least we used to, it still exists sometimes in our circle of friends called the throwdown, right?
Yeah, the throwdown, right,
Yeah,
of course.
which I would explain that as like when somebody can't believe this shit,
When there's a heinous action.
a heinous action that somebody can't believe. We used to do this all the time as teenagers. We would take everything out of our pockets and just fucking throw it on the ground.
Yeah, pockets, phone, belt,
Yeah.
wallet, shoe.
And then the next guy standing next to you would do that. It was a real dumb
You
thing.
just make a
that-
big pile of shit.
Yeah, it was a real dumb thing that we used to do.
Strange to do in public.
Yeah, all the time we used to do this. And
I did it a month ago.
Yeah, I know. That was the first time that had been done in like 7 years, and it was
Uh-huh.
hilarious because of that, because it made me re-trigger these memories. But I do remember when I first played this game that this particular scene was kind of a throwdown moment for me because I felt like all of this stuff was so convenient. Like instead of me wondering about, well, what is the reason that all of our characters were in the orphanage? Why are all of us intertwined with this Destiny stuff with Sorceress Adea? I took the opposite approach of like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is this?
Was this necessary?
This is all so convenient. So I would describe this as a major throwdown moment for me as a teenager. I'm interested to find out this time around if I feel the same way or if this fits a little bit neater.
You blew my mind with the Irvine thing. That's
Yeah.
to me more of a revelation than the rest of this.
Yeah. So yeah, those fucking sick chants are playing. Everyone's collectively not believing any of this shit. Everyone begins searching for answers just like me.
Kistis asks why Matron is Edea. Irvin replies, why? You're wondering why Matron would take over a country or fire missiles and whatnot? At this point, we probably wouldn't comprehend it even if we talked about it, which it's kind of a weak explanation
Yeah.
from this video game. Squall agrees with him, and then Irvine continues as the music Tell Me plays.
Yes.
Hear me out. Seed and garden were all Matron's idea, right? I'm not a seed, but I share the same feeling with all of you. Seeds are supposed to fight the sorceress, right? Then Squall puts his hand on his head in the thinking pose. Says, this is strange. That's right. It was when I was being tortured by Cypher. He wanted to know what seed was. Matron should know, but Matron is Sorceress Edea. There's no denying that. What does all of this mean? So the gang is playing Who's On First, and it's clumsy, but I'm glad it's at least trying to address this enigma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Irvine then goes on one.
Yeah. Are you listening, Squall?
It cuts to daytime front shot of the orphanage. So it's like this. This is what I wanted to say. Let's see. Oh yeah, I understand what Renault is saying. I understand, but I'm still going to fight. I want to stay true to everything I've stood for. I'm sure it's the same for everyone. That's why I thought it'd be best if everyone knew we would have to face Matron. You've all heard this before, how life has infinite possibilities. I don't believe that one bit.
He's played Chrono Cross.
He knows there's multiple paths.
No, he knows there's multiple paths, but it all ends in the same place.
But is this like a rejection of fate and determinism? And
yes, sort of.
there weren't many paths for me to choose. Sometimes there would only be one. From the limited possibilities I faced, the choices I made have brought me this far. That's why I value the path I chose. I want to hold true to the path that had to be taken.
Before he says that line, I always call it
The point?
no, he fist bumps Jesus. Like,
Oh,
there's
okay.
no one there.
Yeah.
He, like, fist bumps an invisible man
The
and,
Lord, right.
tips his cap. Is he just rationalizing impossible circumstances?
I think this is something he has been practicing for when he's had to do this. Like, he's gotten it out in fits and starts, but now he's really coalescing it all together. Because this is the longest he's talked about anything in this fucking video game,
yeah.
other than leaving porno for people to find.
So he's just justifying the fact that this fight is worth it because it's the only fight there is.
This was all spurred off from Renault's "Why can't we talk this out" conversation,
Yeah.
right?
I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it is tying back to her original question
Yeah.
in like a long-winded. I know our opponent is Matron, whom we all love very much. We might lose something very important on account of the Guardian forces, but I don't mind. Not like I drifted here on the tides of fate.
The cogs.
I'm here because I chose to be here, and more importantly, we all grew up together. But due to various circumstances, we were all separated. As a kid, you couldn't really go out on your own. There were no other path to take. All I did was just cry, and then it cuts back to the basketball court. But somehow we're together again. Just like old times, though a lot's changed. We're not kids anymore. We're strong enough to take care of ourselves, make our own decisions. We're confronting a big one right now. Do we fight Matron or not? I say we fight. Shoot for a common goal. Hey, at least it'll keep us together a little longer. When he says he chose to be here, does he mean after he was selected by Martine to join the team? Or did he like engineer that so that like he saw these
There's
people
no
coming?
way he engineered anything. I mean, I don't think it was a circumstance that he was part of this.
But We'll find some dialogue later that implies that he stuck with this team when the rest of the Galbadian students either abandoned ship or fought on behalf of Galbadia Garden.
Yeah, that's true. But no one's asking the question that I have about all this is,
What does Renoa think?
well, no, not that. Well, yeah, I do have that question, but also like, why? Why is this group together? Like,
Oh, it's a JRPG.
Stop it. Stop doing this. Maybe not why, but how? How did this happen?
Well, they just told you.
What did they say?
Kistis got to know Cypher and Squall by having to always break them up. Selfie got transferred here,
No, I know-
randomly wink. Irvine got inserted in the party, randomly wink.
Okay, but like, did
What was the start of all of this?
maybe the better question is like, is this a scenario, and are we part of it?
Oh, yeah, someone orchestrating all of this.
Yes,
Like for a greater purpose that we haven't realized yet.
The answer
Is it Sid? Is that what
has to
Sid's
be
doing?
Sid, because I
Yeah.
mean, Adea was the matron
Kramer.
of the fucking place,
Oh, yeah, and Sid's the founder of Garden, right?
and they found the garden together. So,
All of this was a
But
scenario to prevent sorceress shit.
but did they specifically pick out these? I guess
These kids?
these 6 kids.
We don't know if there were other orphanages, right? Like if Sid was manning his own somewhere across and all those kids were duds.
Remember how much he wanted Squall to pass the exam,
Yeah.
and Cypher too, for that matter. Although
Uh-huh.
Cypher couldn't do it.
His Gunblade boys.
So
Your special boys have the experimental
yes,
weapons.
we are the special boys of destiny. At least Squall is, and the answer to the question of why is he the special boy of destiny has something to do with him being part of this group. We don't really
This
understand.
also
that.
explains kind of why Adea chose Cypher as the lead soldier, even though he's an incompetent fuckwit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes a lot of. Yeah, she understands his particular.
And she may not be that
advantage.
person anymore, but she knows that she can get the memory out of him and make him think that.
Yeah.
Plus, she has sorceress mind control powers.
So Irvine slaps his hands together.
Hell yeah.
He asks the big question: do we fight Matron or not? He mentions that it'll keep us together a little longer. He's like, at least we get to hang out.
Yeah, that's
we might die,
his final
but
pitch is like, we can hang out. Selfie's pretty.
Zell stands up with shonen resolve. He says, let's fucking get it. We can't run from her for the rest of our lives. Selfie believes this to be such a bummer, but faces the inevitability of this fight. Kistis agrees with Zell, who's been making a lot of good points lately, as we've discussed.
Makes some good points. Squall then asks the question, Renoa, it's up to you. What?
Huh? Yeah. I don't think he's asking her if,
The operation? She's asking if her inclusion is
are
up
you
to her.
coming with us,
Okay.
basically, yeah.
They're going to fight because it's the only way they can move on with their lives. If that makes any sense at all, come with us. I'm sure that's what everybody wants, just as the gang does celebration poses. The camera then cuts to an overhead shot, and what weather effect starts happening?
Nuclear fallout.
Snow.
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 Selfie thinks it's a gift from the fairies. Chris, has anyone outside of Laguna mentioned fairies?
No, but Selfie may have been. Well, no, Selfie wasn't in that particular scene. Selfie
No.
wasn't in the Windhill scene.
Also, we've had no global or local religion in this game mentioned ever. Is that what this is tied to? Is Selfie a believer in faith, Chris? Are Selfie and Laguna part of a faith that believes in fairies controlling destiny
Yeah, or it could be sort of a tall tale.
that they just happen to believe in? Laguna is definitely a dreamer, and I think Selfie is the most likely to dream in this.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Zell says we should go check out Adea's orphanage. Irvine thinks we might find a clue. Kistis wants to know why Matron turned out like this. Squall then thinks to himself, it probably has to do with something that happened in the past. But the past is the past. It's over. It's done with. Then he speaks. Despite what truth we find, it's not going to change the present. But I want to see too. I don't know what we'll find, but let's head for brackets Adea's house end bracket.
Yeah, that's a little bit of subtle character growth for Squall as well, because he typically would say it's something that's already happened. There's no reason talking about it.
Whatever.
But now whatever. Now he's become at least somewhat curious about what was the start of all of this.
Everyone walks away except for Renoa.
Yep.
Her and Squall are alone on the basketball court as the snow, fallout, ashes of dead students, falls.
Yes.
The camera cuts to a close-in shot. Squall guesses this is it. They're all fighting. Renoa says we're fearless. Squall responds, fearless? I don't think that's quite right. If you think too hard, you become lost. I think that's what everyone's afraid of. No, dude, that's what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
You think way too hard.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I wish we didn't have to fight either. Renoa then nods. Party select. I roll Irvine and Renoa, and we're back in the garden.
We're back.
But we're out
Fade out.
of this episode.
Okay, let's consult the real net.
Initializing RealNet.
John Doe says, R.I.P. ODB. Old deceased bastard. Oh,
Big
shit.
baby Jesus.
Miguelisha says, inspect the deck. You
Yeah.
God. Master
Forgot
Killer.
fucking you, God.
John Doe says, is Adea the contact?
It's the Arizona Gears season.
John Doe says, best dumbass time-altering game is Shadow of Destiny. I haven't played that. Don't know.
I've not played that.
Dirty Brown.
Radiant Historia.
I haven't played that either. Dirty Brown Man says, selfie id, which, yes, that works pretty well.
Selfie has an id form.
John Doe says, Renoa feeling out of place when the fight starts because she's not a child soldier is kind of dark.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's true though. That's an interesting point to consider.
Yeah,
I think I'd kind of brushed against that, but she has a little bit more experience than some, and the train operation did take some willpower, but ultimately, she wasn't ready for violence in battles.
John Doe says, fuck yes, Zell was the original big bad rascal.
Yes, right? It's just like a legend of Balam that gets passed on and transferred, like sorceress powers.
Succession of rascals. Anonymous
The succession of rascals, they always just grew up listening to ska. That's what does it.
Anonymous says Cypher's taste didn't change since he was a kid, not in behavior, but in his clothes too. Yeah, he is Cypher. Young Cypher is dressed like Cypher.
Chris, I'm wearing a Bart Simpson shirt. You're wearing a Pokemon shirt. That's not entirely out of the question.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Quistacular says reminds me when Garden Staff was like, you must use the GF. Do not listen to dissenters.
Yeah, Garden Staff pressed that really hard.
Yep.
We will use it to slaughter your boss.
John Doe says, quote, there's a lot of anti-GF propaganda out there saying GFs cause memory loss, but it's all complete BS. Now shove this lightning bird into your brain, no questions.
Right. Attach it to yourself. Junction it.
Yeah, I think you touched on this, but John Doe says it'd be kind of believable that some of these kids would block out their childhood as fucking war orphans. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Dirty Brown Man says Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, aka PNA, Palestinian National Authority, was what I was referencing earlier. Or later, depending on if that thing is in the outtakes or not. Who knows? Quistacular says, this is such a BS write-off of Kistis. She deserves more.
Yeah, it makes me upset. I think it was tying off a loose end as opposed to concluding an arc.
Yeah.
Like they wrote the original scenario and just decided to wrap it up here for some reason.
Yeah, there's just nowhere else to go. Because I mean, I don't know if the game, at least I've only played a little bit more, but the game feels like it's shifting into
main objective.
Big plot stuff, yeah.
The character work is over. It's big plot stuff time. Like Zell got his round 2 of development in Balam. Selfie got hers in Trabia, and Irvine got his here at the basketball court.
Yeah. And even what they got was not anything special. I think we're grasping onto it because it's there. It's the little bits that are there, but I mean, if you think about it, it's not a ton more than some of the Chrono Cross characters get, and there's fucking 45 of those.
That's true. Like one defining asset and then a double down on it later.
Yeah. Cliff Racer says, yeah, they were friends / enemies as kids and nothing ever changes if you get magic bird brain damage. Is like that concept is so much less satisfying than friends and enemies being a result of allegiances and personalities.
Yeah.
And
grudges.
Yeah. In reference to Sid I think it was Kista said Sid would never allow such a thing with the memory loss using GF, stuff like that. John Doe recontextualizes that quote and says, there's no way the dude who runs a child soldier version of Blackwater could allow something so dangerous.
Right. You see that shit where Eric Prince was charging like, 8 Gs to evacuate special people from Afghanistan last week?
No, I didn't see that. John Doe says he gave us that magic lamp with gravity Satan in it. He clearly has our best interests in mind.
Didn't tell us what it did.
No.
Why don't you rub it, Squall?
Save your game before you fight this fucking thing.
Gravity Satan.
Shy Guy 32 says, I'm pretty sure the GF memory loss is 100% supposed to be a metaphor for the destruction of the protagonist's childhoods.
That too, yeah. Any kind of mental trauma, really.
John Doe says it related to Irvine not wanting to shoot the bullet. He was the only one who recognized Adea, and he was, in retrospect, quietly losing his shit over suddenly realizing he was being asked to shoot his mom.
Oh shit. But he still shot her.
He's also wondering, why aren't the rest of you freaking out about this?
I mean, she did look quite different. Like, if someone puts on enough makeup and changes their hair, I have I don't have face blindness, but I won't recognize that person.
But I mean, she has the same name, though.
Yeah, but like, what if Adea is a common name, right?
Yeah.
Like, if someone said, I'm King Chris, I'm like, well, that's not Chris. It's some other Chris.
Shy Guy 32 says, I get the feeling that Sid engineered most of the party getting on the same team, which I think that's where we're heading, but I'm hoping the game actually tells us that. John Doe says, Norg voiced that married couple.
That pathetic married couples?
Quistacular says, please kill my wife. John Doe says, Rodney Dangerfield's voice, or kill my wife, please.
Hey, can somebody kill my wife?
Okay, well, that's it. So
That was
thanks.
one.
Yeah. That was an episode. Wow, a very special episode of Retrograde Amnesia, where all the characters discover they have retrograde amnesia. Speaking of retrograde amnesia, this episode, it was a production of Retrograde Amnesia. It was recorded on August 27th, 2021, and we thank Mark for the music.
It is my fault. What?
You can find us on Twitter at Retro Amnesia Pod, and if you like this podcast, you can tell a friend, or you can consider only. Do not do it, just consider. Supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam. You can get early access to this stuff 2 weeks early. Bonus episodes, mini-series on different games, other games, good games, I guess. Voting rights and access to the Real Net on Discord. You can also email us if you're an email, because we accept emails at podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. Until next time, Eric.
Yes, we will refuse to shoot our mother through an 1,000-yard distance during a parade through a sniper scope while we're on a float.
And now you may go back to sleep. That rhymed a little bit there. Scope on... No, never mind. It's scope on a float. I thought you said...
Soap on a rope? The devil hits a lot of his shots, Chris.
It's a UCB
Super cool.
thing where the kid gets possessed by the devil and he's really good at basketball, and it's emphasized that he never misses free throws because he's possessed.
Chris, quit screwing around. We have jerking off to do.
Yeah. I have a specific memory from when I was 11. Was that sixth grade?
For me, it was. I don't know about you.
Okay, I remember.
People not born in August.
This is. I want to preface this with this is fucked up.
Okay. Great. Sharing.
My teacher. Remember, this was, what year was this? Well, this was during
For me, 11 was 94. For you, it would have been 93.
Yeah, so this was during the height of the, I'm forgetting the name of the organization, but it was the organization,
13.
The Palestinian organization led by Yasser Arafat.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were called. It was during that conflict, and I don't remember what the significance of us having this conversation in social studies or current events class or whatever the fuck it was. The teacher called him Yes Sir Amarat.
Well, around the same time, David Letterman called Bibi Netanyahu Weird Bibi Yankovic. So,
yeah, sure,
great.
Right. It's just weird. I mean,
yeah, the small things that you retain for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
Saddam Hussein toilet paper.
We also watched Clash of the Titans that year.
Cool.
In class, which was good.
Not bad.
I had a Larry Johnson Charlotte Hornets jersey.
Me too. What color was yours?
It was the teal one.
Dude, I had purple.
Oh,
how about that?
Sick, dude.
It's fucking tight.
Did you have his fucked up Converse shoes?
No, I didn't buy. Actually, I had the Spree Wells. I had Spree Wells Converse shoes.
God damn, he choked Don Nelson. Don Nelson?
No, he choked PJ Carlissimo.
I thought he choked. No,
it was Carlissimo.
He played for Don Nelson.
The other Team USA coach.
He played for Don Nelson.
Yeah.
Don Nelson. Have you looked at the picture of Don Nelson lately?
He's still alive? I bet he looks like John Madden. Don Nelson in my head is indistinguishable from John Madden.
No. Yeah, at one point, yes. Hold on.
What, did he lose or gain a bunch of weight?
Hold on.
We're stopping the podcast to show me a picture of Don Nelson.
Yes.
This is the type of operation you want to run. You want to talk about Don Nelson pictures.
He looks fucking
what
good,
the
doesn't
fuck,
he?
Dude, he looks awesome.
Yeah, he looks real good.
So he could run a fucking garden.
Look at this. Former Warriors coach Don Nelson has a weed farm in Maui.
God, I thought this was going to be depressing. That's he looks great.
Yeah.
Nice chain, dude.
Don Nelson rules.
I'm going to model my life after like that. Grow my hair back, please.
I mean, look at that fucking glow up, man. Look at that.
It's
that
pretty good.
To that.
I mean, that's... Yeah, I want to see a John Madden glow up like that. Fix him up, man. God, weed does great things for people.